Hey there, film buffs. Welcome back to Rocky Watches Movies. Today we're travelling through time with one of the most imaginative and quirky films of the 80s, Time Bandits. Released in 1981, this Terry Gilliam classic is packed with adventure comedy and a whole lot of surprises. But even if you've seen it a dozen times, there are still some secrets you probably haven't uncovered. In this video, we're revealing behind-the-scenes challenges and surprising inspirations that brought this wild ride to life. So round up your gang of bandits, and we'll jump through 20 things you never knew about Time Bandits. Terry Gilliam conceived the idea for Time Bandits in 1979, aiming to tell a story entirely from a child's perspective. He realised a child character alone might struggle to carry the film. To address this, he introduced the concept of dwarves as companions, creating a group dynamic at child height. Combining this with the time-travelling premise allowed for a unique blend of childlike wonder and criminal escapades, exploiting the paradox of altering the past without consequences. Originally, the script for Time Bandits described King Agamemnon as someone who looks exactly like Sean Connery or an actor of equal but cheaper stature, because they thought they couldn't afford him. Unexpectedly, the script landed in Connery's hands. Impressed by the role, he expressed interest and his agent contacted the filmmakers. Sir Sean Connery also suggested that he appear as one of the firefighters near the end of the movie. It was also his idea for him to do magic tricks for Kevin. Executive producer Dennis O'Brien initially objected to the explosive demise of Kevin's parents, prompting a creative standoff with director Terry Gilliam. O'Brien's reservations about the scene's violent nature were eventually overruled following a test screening for a young audience. The first child who was asked what his favourite moment of the movie was, excitedly said, "The parents being blown up," ultimately convincing O'Brien to keep the controversial ending. Jonathan Pryce was initially considered for the role of the evil genius in Time Bandits, but was unavailable due to his commitment to the film Loophole. According to Michael Palin's diary, producer O'Brien suggested several high-profile names, including Burt Reynolds and Peter Sellers for the Supreme Being, and Art Carney for Winston the Ogre. Ruth Gordon was originally cast as Mrs. Ogre, but had to withdraw due to an injury. During the filming of the Sherwood Forest scene, where the Time Bandits crash into Michael Palin and Shelley Duvall's carriage, director Gilliam set up scaffolding for the actors to practice their jumps. He instructed them to land near Palin and Duvall without actually hitting them. To demonstrate the desired impact, Gilliam climbed the scaffolding and jumped himself, unintentionally landing on top of Duvall. Faced with studio rejection, executive producers ex-Beatle George Harrison and Dennis O'Brien took a bold step of mortgaging their Cadogan Square office building to secure the $5 million budget for Time Bandits. The film defied expectations, grossing over $40 million and earning critical acclaim for its imaginative storytelling and visual effects. Its enduring popularity has solidified its status as a cult classic, beloved for its unique blend of fantasy, adventure and humour. If you're enjoying the video, a subscribe to the channel would be supreme. A clever visual touch in Time Bandits involves the transformation of Kevin's toys into the epic battle against the evil genius. The cowboys, Greek archers, tank, the spaceship, and even a chessboard seen in Kevin's room are magnified and brought to life in the cinematic battle. In some shots, giant Lego bricks can clearly be seen as the building blocks of evil genius's fortress. To immerse the audience in the perspective of the shorter-than-most actors, Terry Gilliam used a consistent use of low camera angles throughout Time Bandits. This cinematic choice effectively conveyed the overwhelming scale and grandeur of the world from their point of view. Terry Gilliam and Charles Mackeown attempted to revive the Time Bandits universe in 1996 with a sequel script. Most of the original cast was set to return, though the untimely deaths of David Rappaport and Tiny Ross prevented their involvement. Also, Jack Purvis's paralysis following a car accident forced them to change his role, and then his subsequent passing indefinitely halted development of the project. Craig Warnock, overwhelmed by sharing the screen with Sean Connery on his first day of filming, found it challenging to maintain composure during their close-ups. At Connery's suggestion, their scenes were shot separately until the young actor could adjust to the veteran star's presence. Despite the initial nerves, Warnock fondly recalls Connery's down-to-earth demeanour. The screenplay was published and includes several black and white stills from deleted scenes, such as the Spider-Women sequence and Agamemnon giving Kevin a knife. Other cutscenes involve surreal dream sequences, a bank robbery in the 22nd century, and during the Time of Legends segment, a planned forest of living tree hands. The Spider-Women scene was fully filmed, but unfortunately it's considered lost, with only the script and behind-the-scenes images remaining. A new Apple TV series starring Lisa Kudrow and Taika Waititi has sparked criticism from Terry Gilliam. The director of the 1981 cult classic expressed disappointment in the show's shortage of dwarves, a core element of his film. Gilliam proudly highlighted that Time Bandits transformed often overlooked short actors into leading roles, making them action heroes. He attributed his detachment from the new series to the loss of control over the Time Bandits' rights following the sale of production house Handmade Films. Training a horse to make a dramatic entrance by leaping from a closet was no small feat, requiring several weeks of dedicated work. Terry Gilliam initially envisioned Time Bandits as a film devoid of any music beyond the traditional score. However, due to George Harrison's pivotal role as executive producer in both Time Bandits and the earlier Monty Python's Life of Brian, the inclusion of Harrison's song Dream Away during the end credits became non-negotiable after Harrison reminded Gilliam neither this film nor The Life of Brian, made 2 years earlier, would have happened without his help. Reluctantly, Gilliam conceded, allowing this single original song to be incorporated into the film's soundtrack. Catherine Hellmond championed the idea that her character should look totally human alongside her ogre husband, for the contrast and because she didn't want to undergo elaborate makeup sessions. Gilliam has noted that David Rappaport mistakenly believed his role in Time Bandits was solely based on his acting talent and not his distinctive appearance. His method acting and this misconception led to a certain isolation from his co-stars. The scene with the invisible barrier, where the other dwarves rebel against Randall, is often interpreted as a reflection of the cast's frustrations with Rappaport. Evil Genius's apparatus on his head was influenced by H.R. Geiger's work on Alien, which also featured Sir Ian Holm. Robert Hewison's book, Monty Python, The Case Against Irreverence, Scurrility, Profanity, Vilification and Licentious Abuse, suggests that the dwarves in Time Bandits are satirical representations of the Monty Python troupe. Fidget the Nice One is said to represent Sir Michael Palin, Randall, the self-appointed leader, represents John Cleese, Strutter the Acerbic One represents Eric Idle, Og, the Quiet One, represents Graham Chapman, Wally the Noisy Rebel represents Terry Jones, and Vermin the Nasty Filth-Loving One represents Terry Gilliam. 49 years old when cast, actor Ian Holm portrayed the 26-year-old Napoleon Bonaparte. Kenny Baker, renowned for his portrayal of R2-D2 in the Star Wars franchise, played the role of Fidget. His fellow Time Bandits Malcolm Dixon, Mike Edmonds and Jack Purvis also had parts in Star Wars Episode 6 Return of the Jedi as Ewoks. And there you have it, folks. You now know a little bit more about Time Bandits. If you enjoyed this video, which I presume you did as you got this far, hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss any future videos coming to Rocky Watches Movies. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.